Need a coffee break. Let's get into this. Let's talk about Stranger Things. Just overall, just my random thoughts at the moment, and just what I'm thinking right now. So, the season finale was more than a couple of days. It was on Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, and watching Volume One, watching Volume Two of Season Five. The first volume, I feel like it was crazy, and I loved it. There was certain scenes that I love, certain conversations had to be happening. I do feel like Elle was more on, especially the first part volume, she was more enthusiastic to take down these people, right? And also get rid of Vecna, Henry slash Vecna. Everybody else, like Will and his mom, Joyce, they had several conversations through this season that I loved and appreciated. The fact that Will was coming into his own and his mom, same thing I will also be talking about Hopper and Elle, the fact that they needed to cut the cord with their kids. They needed to. Especially Joyce and Will. Will, you could tell Will was coming into his own and being the person that he needed to be in this. And for she was trying to track him and just try to hold on to him, but I think she quickly realized um at the end of volume one that he's grown up. He's getting into himself. And he had more ideas through this season, and I love that. He was taking charge, and I initially loved that. At the end of part volume one of him getting his powers and stuff, that scene was unbelievable. The conversations between one duo that I absolutely loved was Will and Robin. That was amazing. The information she was talking, the things that she was saying was probably very real for him. Now going into also Erica, that scene that she had with Derek's family. First of all, I need to see her in more things. She's an amazing actor. She really is. I need to see her in more shows and more movies. Okay, but that scene in particular, I feel like she went Dexter on us. I really do. With the syringe, the pie, I was like, oh goodness. But she had some great scenes in this. I will be talking about the finale in a minute. Other things between like Nancy, her badassness will always take me there. Okay. Um, Another thing is like Nancy and Jonathan. The fact that that they were broken up and all that kind of stuff. And all she wanted was her sister because her sister was taken. Now the scene Holly's in this, which is their sister. She was it was more there was a lot surrounding with her, but her character in particular I thought was beautiful because her and Max had fantastic conversations and fantastic just back and forth. The fact that the scene in volume two of them getting back to their bodies and stuff like that, the conversation that Max had with Holly to be more encouraging and give her, more enthusiasm that she could do this. She could do. You got me to. She helped her get to Max's body, but Max was trying to tell her, you are it. You could do this. And the fact that that shined through the finale of her, helping her friends get back to their bodies was fantastic. I would love, knowing the fact the Duffy brothers saying that they're doing a spinoff, but it's not going to involve like Holly. Or I would love for them to do a spin off on Holly because she's a great character. Max, let's talk about Max real quick. Max and Lucas. I feel like Max getting back to her body and she knows everything in Henry's mind now because she's been out for a while. You know, I love Max as a character. She's a great character. Derek. Let's talk about Derek real fast. Derek, I feel like he got knocked down, picked up, get hurt in the beginning of this, and all that kind of stuff was crazy. I think he had a lot of painful, painful things going on.
It's me. So I'm editing this video right now. I know I said Derek. I meant to say Dustin. Okay. And I also want to add that Dustin is going through so much in season 5. And like I said, with losing Eddie and the fighting that him and Steve had back and forth in this season, Dustin was going through a lot. But when you hear me say Derek, I meant to say Dustin in this part. I'm so sorry. My mind was going like really fast because I was rewatching a lot of stuff to soak up more stuff for season 5 of Stranger Things. So please forgive me. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video.
He just lost Eddie, and him and Eddie had a great friendship. You know, they loved each other between playing D&D and all that kind of stuff. And I know I said that wrong, but the game and stuff. I love that because Derek is he's smart. He knows what he's doing. He has ideas. He tries to make those ideas come to life and stuff like that. He's very on his feet, which I love because I feel like when you're in this type of situation and you got someone on your behind constantly and trying to get rid of Hawkins and stuff like that, you have to be on your toes. I feel like in a situation like this, you can't be lazy. You can't be. You can't be like when a villain's on your butt. You can't be da da da. You can't do that. You have to use this. You have. It's not more. Yes, it's a physical thing, but it's also a mental thing. You have to be on your toes. You have to have ideas. You have to smart out your villain and stuff. And I'll say this: Henry, the guy that plays Henry, which I love him. The I hope he plays more villains in the future. Okay, because his body language and the way he was also in the 4th season and going into this is crazy. Him he gets. I thought for a moment that they were going to give him a redemption. I was like, he's done too much. But we've seen him face one of his fears and stuff like that, and he talking about it chose him. He had choices. He just chose not to do those choices. Okay, he chose not to do it. But it took over him. The mind flare, which was a wild scene going into the finale. But every Callie, I thought, this is just my personal opinion, I thought she was going to ruin some things. She didn't. She didn't ruin nothing. I thought she was just. I think the deal that they had when they had the conversation between them, I thought that was crazy. And when Hopper found out, he was not having it. He was not having it at all. And I like the fact that Harper and Eleven had that conversation before she hopped up there, because the conversations needed to be had. And the scene going in, let's talk about the finale just real quick. There was people missing. Okay, the finale was 2 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, Erica and Dustin's mentor was in the beginning, right? They were at the church and all that kind of stuff. The next thing, you don't see him, but you do see her at the graduation and when Lucas and Max was kissing. She was in the garage or whatever. Those were the only times that we seen her. The character that she has grown into. You telling me we couldn't? She at least she could have been with the other kids. I feel like with her brother. I feel like that. Another person besides Dustin's mentor, which I feel like he should have been down there too. But Another person is Robin and what's her name? Vicky. We seen her in the beginning, but we didn't see her anywhere else. And then there was a statement that I seen like, are they together? Are they not together? And I feel like if we should have seen them to seen mention if they were still together or something like that. That wasn't mentioned at all. Now going into the finale, we see them graduating and stuff like that. But one of the scenes that I think is MVP of this show is Derek. Okay, yes, he was in the beginning. He was getting on my last nerve. But he's a good character. He really is. And my thing is that Henry slash Vecna, he thinks that children's minds are weak. Okay, and they show them they're not weak at all. Okay, that scene going into the volume on that towards the end of Vecna and Will, and when he was dragging Will to his face and stuff, you know, it broke him and all that kind of stuff. Will is a very strong character, very strong. And I said this in another video that I was talking about, like review bombing, right? So, seventh episode of season 5, he came out, and I think as fans, we knew that. We knew that he was gay. We knew that, and it's I think it was particularly great to the character him sit because he was just going to at the moment I thought he was just going to tell his mom, but he told everybody. Everybody was sitting around and he was telling his truth. And when he was telling his truth, I was like, "This is a great scene." Okay, great acting, by the way. It was fantastic. Then all of a sudden, review bombing happened. Some type of hate train just came off, and it's now like the lowest. I haven't checked in the last like couple days, but it's the lowest rating episode of like the show's history. My thing is that follow your own opinion and don't follow nobody else's. Because when you follow a hate train or people haven't watched the episode and they just want to follow it if what someone else says and they don't want to actually watch the episode itself, so they follow someone else's opinion. No, follow yours. Okay? I say this a lot because yes, I sit up here and I talk about movies and review movies and TV shows. Watch the same stuff I'm watching and voice your own or make your own opinion about it. But I am your guys' critic over here. Okay, I will if it's something I don't like, I will say this. But review bombing is something that I cannot stand. Okay, and the reason why I don't stand it, well, can't stand it, is because it's crazy to me. Okay, you actually review bomb is something that's actually fantastic, and you sitting up here hating on it because of a subject about the episode. Stop hating. By the way, let's go off of that and talk about just more other stuff I have floating in my head about this show. Hopper and Joyce. Actually, the scene between 11 and the mind flayer thing I thought was crazy. I thought Nancy was out of here. She wasn't, because she to me she's like the definition of badassness. She actually that whole family. The mom, especially the women, the mom, Holly, Nancy. I thought the dad died. He was at the finale towards the end of the graduation. But that whole thing, they all are just a badass family. Okay, Joyce had the final blow to Henry, to Vecna. I knew that was particularly probably going to happen. Vecna has been messing with her family since the beginning. Okay, you don't mess with no mama's kids. You just don't. Okay? And she had the final blow. Okay? You also don't mess with the Wheelers either. Because they my goodness. And that's the thing about Stranger Things are just good writing. From what they were in the first season is completely different what they were in now the last fifth season. When a character must grow, okay? It can't you can't be the same person from the first season and then all of a sudden be the same person in the fifth season. You have to have some character growth here, okay? And I feel like they've all had some character growth. And when you have character growth, it's a fantastic thing to see when it's written, done, and perfectly. Now, I will say there's some holes, especially characters missing. I I just can't believe Erica didn't have more scenes. Okay, because I feel like as her character also thought Steve was out of here in the first like 15 minutes of the finale. Goodness gracious, that almost gave me the most anxiety thing of all. Thank goodness, what's his name was there, Jonathan, because I was about to spaz out. I love Steve. Um, but it's just like character growth is important to a TV show, also a movie, depending on the movie. But my thing is, for a show, if you're on that long of a suspension of a show, you have to have character growth. Now people are talking about. Don't get me wrong. What did I like the finale? Yes, I liked the finale. Was there certain things I wanted more to see and more story and more about? Yes. Yes, I'm not gonna sit up here and lie. I wanted to see more. I think that it could have built more on it or whatever. Excuse me. I also feel like when you have a show for so long, let's talk about like Games of Thrones. That show was on for what, 8 seasons, I believe, or 7 seasons. When it came to the finale, people were sitting up there hating on it. Me personally, I liked it. Um, and then when the first volume of season 5 came out, I made a video just rapidly like talking about stuff just in the first thing. I was like, I'm taking it as the second part, excuse me, the second volume. I'm taking it everything as is, taking it in. I'm not gonna sit up here and haven't seen the finale yet and see how everything goes. What? So I didn't say too much. I was just talking about certain things that were coming out about the show in particular. The fact that they're doing a animated Stranger Things Tales from '85, which is animated series in the Hawkins gang crew. It's adventures taking place from the second season and the third season. So that's going to come out very soon this year. So there's stuff that they're planning. The Duffy brothers are planning. They are planning a sequel, a spin-off, but different location, different cast, uh, just different things, right? Which is amazing, and I feel like they're probably going to do other stuff that's not with Stranger Things. They're probably going to do their own thing, which makes sense because I feel like if you're a director or a writer, and I would, yes, if one of my shows got really big or whatever, and I'm doing these spin-offs and doing the main show, whatever, I want to do other things too. You don't want to. I feel like you just don't want to. You have talent, put that talent in different shows and different movies that you come up with. And Stranger Things have been on for 10 years. It came on in 2016 and it's now over. And I feel like all the actors and the actresses that were in the show, I hope all their their careers flourish. Millie Bobby Brown, she has a few more than a few movies coming out. I think she also just got casted in a TV series, and I love all of them. They are fantastic actors and actresses. I need to see more of them. They spend most of their career on this show. The last time we did see them before fifth season got here was, I want to say, 2002, 2022, when the fourth season came out. When we seen Eddie. Yeah, I'm not going to stop talking about Eddie. Okay, Joseph Quinn did a really good job with Eddie, and the fact that they did mention him quite through the fifth season because Dustin was missing Eddie. I mean, Eddie was his friend. Like I said when I was talking about Dustin, Dustin was going through a lot. Him and Steve were fighting, bickering like a bunch of babies, but they were bickering because there was so much Dustin was dealing with. and they had a fight, and it's just a but just stuff. When you're grieving, stuff comes out. You have to let it out. I know people grieve and they're in different ways and stuff like that, but the more you hold it in, is the more it's going to come, and you're going to just let it just come out. And it came out, and hopefully Dustin moves on, or it looks like he moved on, and live his life. Do the things that he loved and stuff. But overall, like I said, I love the finale. Yes, there's things missing. I wish we would have got like an extra hour and a half. That's what I feel like. But I will talk more about Stranger Things, like different things here and there. But I thought that with the show going off for 10 years, it was great TV, I feel like a lot of us love these characters, and we probably will not see these characters again, but we probably will see some capacity of a spin-off, and now we're getting an animated series and stuff. So I cannot wait to see what they do else with the Stranger Things universe. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. And over here we talk about the things that we love, and I will continue just talking about all the things that I love. Hope you guys are having a beautiful day. Bye.